drum roll.
I know. It's exciting. If it works. We're live. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome. Few housekeeping before we even start. I've already noticed something happening in the chat. So if you look at your screen in the top right-hand corner, there's a little bubble. It looks like a speech bubble. If you press on that button, it'll open up what the chat is so I can see people saying hi. Hello, everybody. If throughout the conversation you've got anything you want to add, any questions, anything that you're already doing, please feel free to chat through there, and we will come back to them definitely at the end and look through as we go along. So welcome, everybody. My name's Hannah, and we've got the lovely Yvonne with us today. Yvonne, give us the wave.
Hello.
And this is Care Club. So this is a new bit of tech for me. So let's see if we can get through it. No, I'm pressing the wrong button already. There we go. We'll have a close-up of my face. We'll get the slides up. We've got the slides up. We've got Yvonne's face. We're winning. So those of you that haven't come to Care Club before, they're support sessions for somebody that's caring for a loved one. So you might be caring for a partner, a family member, a neighbour, and these sessions are here to support you. So if as we're going through, you go, do you know what? I'd like some support with this, or I'd really like a guest speaker to talk to me about this. Please put it in the chat. We're building things based on what you need and what would help you. So all feedback is very, very much welcomed. So if you don't know of Grace Cares, we're a not-for-profit. We're based in Lichfield, but we do several things to support people caring for loved ones. So we have a couple of units in Lichfield where we maintain, refurbish, clean care equipment, and then we sell it at half its original price or less. So if you were looking for any care equipment, we could help you with some cost-effective solutions there. We also do tea parties for the over 70s. We're looking to launch a new one from September this year. We'll be starting on building that up. So if you know of anybody that might benefit from coming out and about locally, so in the Lichfield district, for a tea party and that are over 70, please let us know. We also go and do kindness rock painting, sustainable activities like building bird baths and bird boxes and things like that. So if that would be some sections that you'd like to come along to, please let us know. We also offer hardship grants. So if you're having a bit of a tough time, so maybe you would just like a little couple of hours for yourself to go and get your nails done or do something. I mean, I'm saying that because I'm just looking at the state of my nails. I'm sure not everyone needs to go and get their nails done. We could help fund some care to come and support your loved one whilst you go out and do that. There's lots of things that we can do. So just get in touch. We can maybe help pay towards care equipment. And there's some funds there available for that. And obviously Care Club, which is what we're doing today. So we have online sessions. We also have face-to-face sessions in Lichfield. So by the end of the presentation, I'll let you know what's happening next. But what's happening today? So done a few introductions. Michelle from Caregivers Connect hasn't been able to join us today, but we will go through her slides and we'll show you the resources that are available there. Then the lovely Yvonne will be speaking about some really exciting pilot that Lichfield District Council are doing on Find My Loved One. It's dementia support. It's just very yummy. So we'll look forward to listening to that, and then questions and share. So feel free to add into the chat as we go along. So here are our contact details. So if at any point afterwards you have that brain fart idea of, oh gosh, I should have asked that, or oh no, please take our details. There'll be an email going out after this as well with these emails in as well. So if you've got any questions, everybody's happy to help. So Caregivers Connect. If you have a look on the screen there, you'll see a QR code. Caregivers Connect is a website that has been produced by a company called Ontex. So Ontex have come and helped us with the previous Care Club. So if you've been on Care Club before, they were showing us the right incontinence pads to use, how to put them on, and different stuff around that. They've created a whole website called Caregivers Connect. They've got all manner of lovely resources on there, meditations, vouchers, codes off products, blogs. You've got access to different industry experts on different subjects. So if you do scan that QR code, or also after this in the email that's coming, I've also got the link to Caregivers Connect as well. So if you're not so up on how to use a QR code, which I'm not that great with, you've got the link that's coming in your email as well. But it's a really good resource. So they've got downloadable tools, audible guides, packs that you can have, toolkits and extra samples that they'll send you, and video content. They're quite up with the TikTok. I'm not cool. I don't know all about TikTok, but they've got a lot of influencers that deliver care, that are talking about their journey and talking about support that's available. They've started building this community on TikTok with real caregivers talking about real things that are supporting them. So it's not somebody that hasn't got a clue in a corporate job putting stuff on a website going, this is what you need to be doing. They're really trying to work with people in your situation and every situation to try and actually support with things that you actually need, as opposed to just making up what they think you might need as support. So they're really good at trying to support. So anything that you might need support with, you've had Michelle's email address and it will come out on the email. So go across, and you can also get a demo of the site from her as well. But it's very much worth going on and having a mooch around, because there might be forums if you've got chats that you're like, oh, I want to ask this, but I want to speak to other people that are going through the same thing as me. There's forums on all different kinds of things as influencers. I mean, I'm not really sure on influencing what that really means, but it sounds very cool. And there's webinars and extra content there. So very much get involved with that. So the star of the show, we've got now Yvonne to talk about Find My Loved One. So Yvonne, take it away. And if you want me to move the slides, let me know. Next slide, please. And I'll move along.
Yeah, if you want to move to that one. So yeah, so hello everybody. My name is Yvonne. I lead community safety at Lichfield District Council. Last year, we decided to look at how we can support carers, but also how we could support the emergency services in dealing with anyone that's potentially lost, confused, found wandering. How can we effectively get that individual back home to their place of safety much sooner? If you can move on to the next slide. So I'm also an ex-police officer, so I have had experience of this, where emergency services will get called to somebody maybe wandering, and unless there's been a missing person report about that individual, and unless they've got ID on them, often no one will know who that person is. And if that person's lost, confused, can't communicate effectively, then that person will get more and more distressed. They might end up being taken to a hospital by the ambulance service. And then finally, identification is made, but that can take hours and sometimes up to a day or so if someone's, really been lost and no one knows they're actually missing, because maybe they live on their own and it's only neighbours that are kind of the next of kin. So how would we get that person back home identified quicker? So if you can move on. So my mum had Alzheimer's disease. Unfortunately, we lost her in June last year. However, I know what that looks like. I know what it's like to be a carer of someone with Alzheimer's or dementia. And I also know kind of the impact that can have, the risks that are associated with it. And as many carers are like, they take on that responsibility themselves. They don't like to ask for help quite often. My dad was very much that person. And he only told me probably 2 months ago that she did actually go missing while she was at home before she went to the care home. And she managed to walk from, if anyone does know the areas, from Pelsall village all the way to Bloxwich, which is a few miles. So the risk of what could have happened in that time, it's quite frightening. So what we want to do is also find something that could work and to reassure and at least give that reassurance to carers, to loved ones, that something could be done to help their loved one if they are lost. So we can move on. I did some research and we came up with a project that has been done in other areas. It's been done in Avon, Somerset, Lincolnshire, Wiltshire, called different things, but here we are going to be calling it Find My Loved One. It involves a few different devices. If you want to move on to the next slide, and this tiny, weeny little chip. This is where we get technical, but like I've written it on here, it's basically communication. So if you have a smartphone, in this smartphone will be one of these chips.
Okay.
In the devices that we're going to have, which involves either a wristband style, a hanging card, or a key ring, they also have this chip. And think of it like those two chips are going to shake hands when they come together. They will communicate in that way. And this is how this system will work. And if you want to move on to the next slide, you can see these are the three devices. They are not going to be yellow. I will show you the mock-up in a moment. But these are the 3 devices that will become available to people within the Lichfield district. Okay, if you want to move on, they will look similar to this. However, they will be a darker green because we've been considered around the accessibility standards. Apparent with people with any visual disability issues, they will struggle to read that writing with that tone of green. So we've decided to darken that green off. So we have ordered these now with a darker green, and each of those 3 things will have this teeny weeny chip in it. And what happens is you put a smartphone over the top of the device. The smartphone will pick up and talk to that little device, and it will bring up on the phone what the device has got in it. When a person gets given one of these, we will program it and we will put in it some information. If you want to move on to the next slide, that information will be very basic. It will include name, the person's condition, so Alzheimer's, dementia, what those symptoms involve. So, for example, I've got an example of the screenshot on the right-hand side of my phone, where it could be person's name, Sarah, I have dementia, can become lost or confused. There is a section for additional information. So if there is another health condition that's kind of high risk, you could put that in there, because that person could have gone wandering off for a while and missed a medication for quite a serious other health condition. So it's important that that is there. So I've put the example of I have type 1 diabetes, and then an emergency contact telephone number. That can be partner, brother, sister, daughter, son, neighbour, whoever it is that's it for that person is the best point of contact. So that would go at the bottom. Now, I should add that this is being supported by Staffordshire Police, West Midlands Ambulance Service, and Staffordshire Fire and Rescue. I've been in meetings with the top leads on each of those services, and they're all particularly excited about this, mainly the ambulance service, I have to say, because they are the ones that get the most calls, and obviously will have that time where they have to sit with somebody maybe for hours. They might have to take that person to the hospital because they don't know who they are and they've got no other option. And how distressing that would have been if my mum had been in that position where some ambulance person's come along and handled her into an ambulance and then took her to a hospital. She would have got, my mum got quite aggressive at times with her Alzheimer's, so she would have got probably incredibly distressed. It would have made the situation so much worse. So the idea around this is that all of those emergency services will be able to do that. I've had our local chief inspector use his work phone and test it on the one that we've dummied and programmed in, which is this one, and it works brilliant. He was over the moon with it. So that's the idea behind it, that if somebody has got Alzheimer's or dementia and they have one of these devices, it can be scanned with a smartphone to then enable a person to be then the emergency contact to be phoned immediately and then get that person home much quicker without that whole process of hanging around for hours, getting more distressed, not knowing who they are. It also links to the Herbert Protocol. So Herbert Protocol is something that Staffordshire Police have in place, where if you've got Alzheimer's or dementia, you can complete a document online. I believe it's gone digital now. And there's lots of questions about that person, so that if they go missing, the police officer who is assigned to look for them has that information, which could involve obviously their name, date of birth and all those basics, but also scars, tattoos, birthmarks, places of interest, where they worked, because are they likely to go back somewhere they're familiar with, to help them find them. In there is also a question about, are you part of any safeguarding schemes where you would put in there, yes, I am part of Lichfield's Find My Loved One. So then they know also the likelihood is when they come across Sarah name, for example, on here, Sarah not only might have that birthmark on her shoulder, but she also might have one of these on her to help just doubly identify her, make sure you know it's the right person. So that all links up as well.
We've got a question that's come into the chat from Catherine while I see it. What happens if they won't wear it or take their key?
Yeah, that's the hard part. My mum was a pain really when it came to things like that. We tried Apple tags with her. We tried this dementia watch thing, proper watch you could get, just supposed to track her. Did not work. It was rubbish anyway. But she had like 5 different coats and so many things. So it is difficult. So I think it is better when it's early stage, if you can get them into a pattern of wearing or taking. If they've got a routine of something they take with them, can you attach it to that? So I know one of my colleagues here said their dad always picked up his keys. It didn't matter if he needed them or not. It was just his habit. So the actual keyring part or the card doesn't have to be on a lanyard. It could go on keys. So things like that. I think when they're further along that process, it is harder. Totally get that, because I saw that myself. If you can try and start it earlier when someone's on early diagnosis stage and get that into a routine. Some people already wear lanyards for other reasons. Could you attach it to something they're already wearing and look at what they're already in a routine of? If they're not, like my mum, yes, it will be harder. And I think that's always going to be the challenge, particularly with the disease anyway. That will always be a bit of a challenge. The actual wristband, we did take into account sensory issues, because some people really don't like the feeling of things. But this is incredibly, obviously, as we're not in person, it's hard to show you, but this is very, very soft to the point where I can sit and just do this. But it's a very soft silicone to enable it to be that bit more comfortable as well. So if you are trying to encourage them to put this on, for example, at least you won't have that aspect to worry about. It's a very smooth, very soft material, making it much more comfortable. But yeah, that will always be a challenge with some people living with, I think, Alzheimer's or dementia. I think if we can try and work on getting it early, become a pattern and a routine, it may stick. And it can do if you get it early enough. But obviously everyone's different with the condition. So it's a difficult
you just don't know. So Catherine's also put, my dad wears glasses. Is it small enough to stick on there?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say so. The hang tag is like a proper keyring size. So like if I put it here, you can kind of see it, for example. The size of it. So that probably wouldn't work. If there are certain shoes, you could attach through laces and the holes of where the laces go and that kind of thing. Like I say, you've got the card that doesn't have to be attached to the lanyard. It's just that we are getting lanyards too, because some people are already used to wearing them if they wear like the sunflower one and things like that. But the card can detach. So again, it's got a bigger hole in it for the card one, so that can attach to more things than probably the hang tag, which has got a very small hole through here with this elastic attached to it. And then obviously you've got the wristband. So we have ordered quantities of each, so that if someone tries something and they think this is not working, we can swap. Because like I say, everything's different, and with this disease, you can think something's going to work, and actually you find that the one you didn't think would work does.
With glasses, my dad has now, I don't know if it's a fashion statement, he's trying to look cool. He has his glasses on those cords, so when they fall off his head, he's got, so maybe you could put, if you're Catherine, if your dad does have the cord, hang it off that. But would it be irritating? It's a trial, isn't it? This is being piloted. We're seeing how it works. So it's trying to get our heads on, how can we make this work?
And everyone's individual, aren't they? Everyone living with this disease is individual. Not everyone has the same like routines, same patterns. It exhibits differently because of how that disease progresses. So it is a very difficult thing. So that's why we've got 3 different things with the hope that one thing would work for somebody.
I think that's awesome.
Okay, next. If there's no more questions on that bit, just simply to start with, we'll be doing this in groups to make it easier for people. There
Okay.
will be groups and meetings set up in places when we launch so that people can come. It is easier to talk to obviously a larger group of people than do everyone individually, because neither myself or Hannah or Grace Cares will have that staffing ability to be able to do individuals constantly. Social care
Yeah.
are aware as well, so they will be able to obviously talk people through it and do that with them. Other groups like Alzheimer's Society and Dementia Cares in our area also are involved. So again, initially we'd like to go out in groups. I've already been going to quite a few, Grace Cares group being one of them, Singing for the Brain with Alzheimer's Society, and a few more in the villages I've been to. I'll be going back to them to do this in group sessions. I don't expect people to necessarily download the app and try and do it themselves. If they'd like to join us in a group, that is you're more than welcome, I'm sure, because all of these groups are very open and incredibly friendly. I'll be listing where I'm going to be on our website, and obviously with Hannah, hopefully we can share through Hannah's Grace Cares as well to start this off, because then I've got the app on my phone and I'm more than happy to help people to set this up. As time goes on, there'll be stock with us, but there'll be stock with Grace Cares, and obviously we'll set up a more formal process going forward in the future. We're still early in the fact that we've not launched yet. We're still working on our comms and how that will look, but it will be a lot easier if we can do some in group settings, because obviously then we can explain. It's a lot easier when you're with people, isn't it, where you can talk to them about it. But it's a very simple process. The whole thing, if you want to move on to the next slide, the most important thing here to realise is the whole thing is free. It has been
That's good.
already.
Rebecca's just put what cost is involved. So I'm glad this slide. Rebecca, you put it into the universe.
There you go. Yes, it is all free. The devices are free. The app to download if you want to do it yourself is free. There is no cost involved for anybody. So that's just, yeah, that's the best part of it, I think, for everybody, because for something like this that's a trial and error thing, you don't be paying somebody for something and then find it doesn't work. So in the end, it's open and free for anybody, and it's within the Lichfield district, because bearing in mind we've had this funding from the Crime Commissioner originally for delivery in Lichfield district.
So can Tamworth residents access it, Rebecca's put in, or is there anything in Tamworth that's similar that we could sign?
Not that I'm aware of yet, but my counterparts there are very aware I'm doing this. And because we're with their I'm using my ability to speak already. Dry mouth, sorry. So we're a community safety partnership in Lichfield, and each area has a community safety partnership, and they are all aware of what we're doing here, and they're kind of watching, because I think they're thinking, is it going to work? Is it working? They're the guinea pigs. We'll keep an eye out, and with the potential, hopefully, for other areas to follow suit. Because we are the first area in Staffordshire to do this, although as you've seen earlier, there are places in the UK that have done it already. We're just the first ones in Staffordshire.
So the thought would be for Rebecca to see how this works, and then write to MP, write to the council. We could help you. So Rebecca, if you want to keep in touch, we can help you.
Council, the community safety team at Tamworth Borough Council. So they're keeping an eye. However, it will depend on obviously funding as time goes on, because that is slowly dwindling as well, what we get to spend. So we're quite lucky we got this in anyway, I think, when we did.
So in terms of the devices being free, what if I'd like to trial on my dad's shoes the tag, but I'd also want to trial him wearing it, or am I only allowed one device?
Ideally one to start, but if you obviously are in a group or you've come to a group, you can come back and meet us, or you can contact me, because my details obviously will be available for anybody. And if you wanted to come and swap it, you could come swap it. But because obviously we want to give as many people the opportunity as possible, we'd rather not give out multiples to one individual to start, because obviously we want to see how this goes. And if things start going out really, really quickly and we end up with hardly anything left, we also have to rely on people bringing stuff back, which isn't necessarily always going to happen, is it? So if preferably one at a time to start with, but obviously you'll be able to access us, not a problem.
And do you need the app? So
you need the app to put the data on.
to put the data on. But if I find somebody in
You don't,
Lichfield,
yeah,
I can just use my phone with no app to bring up the data to try and
absolutely.
help them.
Yes, absolutely. Our comms that we're doing, our advertising of this will involve a bit more instruction around that because, for example, an iPhone
Yeah.
that I have, the NFC chip is activated within it. But with Samsung, you have to activate it. Now, if someone's using it to pay, like people pay with their phones, don't they? I don't do that because I'm not fancy enough. I can't work it out. But if people go like to cash the chip and pin machines in a shop and they put their phone on it, that means their phone's
Yeah.
NFC chip is working because it's the NFC chip that enables that to happen. But
Okay.
some people who don't use their phones may need to ensure it's switched on. I went around the council and I think I went around 40 people with different phones and I made them all scan it. And
Scan me.
yeah, literally, I literally tested 40 different phones in our council building. I bothered everybody that day. I think they were getting cheesed off with me. And I only found one didn't work. And the one that didn't work was this one I'd never heard of, a brand I'd never heard of, but doesn't have NFC chip anyway. You can't pay with it. So
Okay.
that's the only thing to be aware of. If you haven't got an NFC chip in your phone, then clearly that won't work. But I would say 90% of your population now will have a smartphone with an NFC chip in it. It's just that when we do our advertising, we have to make that clear that if
Yeah.
you come across somebody, please ensure that your NFC chip is activated. If you're on an Android, you are likely to have to check that. If you're an iPhone, you won't need to.
Yeah.
And just to make that clear, because I don't want people then going, oh, it doesn't work, this is rubbish.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's not that it's rubbish, it's just that different phones clearly are slightly different in how they work.
Have you got any figures on the amount of people that do get lost in Staffordshire? Like, do the ambulance keep like a tally of the amount of people that they're supporting?
I've tried with the police as well because of the way they categorise calls. They could put some concern for safeties in, but then you'd have to go through every single one because a concern for safety could be just a drunk person, not necessarily a vulnerable person with Alzheimer's, dementia, anything like that. So they're not able to actually split that category up. Yeah. But I do know, even just from being on social media, I mean, I go on local Facebook groups and there's a particular gentleman that lives in Burntwood that regularly has people put Facebook posts about him on saying, I've seen this man, he's got off a bus, he looks confused, it's his routine, he does it every week, but I've regularly seen posts on that individual.
Yeah.
And just that, if that individual had this, somebody could just then, instead of putting it on Facebook for the world to see, could they then just phone the person at home and say, is he all right? And they'll go, yeah, he does this every week.
Yeah, that's
okay, I'm reassured, that's fine.
And it is getting out into the community. So everybody that will be watching this on catch up, when we send this out, everyone that's live watching it, to know that this is happening, tell people, because the more people that we know what the device is, the more people see it. I mean, now, like you were talking about the sunflower lanyard, everybody now understands, that's somebody that might need some additional help. Now I can sell straight away, and we need to have that thought process for everybody in our local community that sees the dark green and the white either on the band or on a tag and goes, that's somebody that might be if they might need some support.
Yeah, and like I say, there's going to be a lot of advertising around this. We're just trying to set up a meeting with our communications team on how we can deliver this the best way, because obviously it ain't going to work if people don't know what it is. If someone's walking around, they don't know what that wristband means, then it clearly isn't going to do the job. So there's got to be a big project around that. And also for our partners, like for our social services, for our emergency services, for our other Alzheimer's and dementia groups and services to advertise it as well. Without that, it just won't work. And we really want this to work, because if it can give someone that reassurance and get someone home so much quicker and safer, then I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, as you say, it's the early adoption of all of it. So if your loved one is at the beginning of their journey, it gets within their routine, then children, family, everyone knows, oh, that's what that is. Then it just becomes commonplace, doesn't it? Common practice. Change is always scary, and telling people's always scary. But then once it's there and you can see the benefits, but I think it's great. You don't need an app. You just need the app to upload the information for your own self. But that
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
do
You
that
only need
without.
to at the
Yeah.
very start when you get hold of whatever it is you're having, and then you want to put your name in it and those details, and that is the only time you need access to any app, is doing that part. Once that's done, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. And in terms of, you're launching it Augusty time, aren't you? It's coming
Yeah.
soon. It is coming soon. So they're not out and about right now, but they will be. So we will have comms on where Yvonne will be in terms of doing the app training and talks once it is launched. So everybody that's already on our data set, which you'll already be because you've signed up for this, don't worry, there'll be emails and updates coming out to let you know. But as we've said, there's an email going out afterwards with Yvonne's contact details on it. So if you do have any questions afterwards or just want to keep in touch about it, you've got those contact details in order to do that. So any more questions? Let's have a quick look. Rebecca, thank you. I've got to head to an appointment now, but very useful session. We'll attend again. Well, that's nice to hear, Rebecca. We're glad that you came and enjoyed that. If anybody else does have any questions, please pop them in the chat. I'll give you a few moments. But in terms of next meetings for people to know about, we've got our next face-to-face care club. That's at the Lichfield Cathedral Hotel. That's on the 20th of July, and we've got a speech and language therapist coming to give us some top tips, and we've also got a lady from the Lichfield Arts. There's support sessions for elderly and people with dementia that they're looking to launch as well across the district. So there'll be some news about that. So that'd be nice. And our next online care club is then in August. And we've got a lovely speaker. Her name's Lindsay, and she's the cognitive health coach. So she went through a journey. I think everyone goes through a journey themselves and then goes, I need to do something about this. And she's a qualified nutritionist that then looks at how nutrition can affect your brain and help with getting your memory and how you can feed your brain to be more effective and stuff like that. But I had an initial chat with her and she was just fascinating. I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, that's interesting. So hopefully you'll get some really good top tips from her. So if you are online and you take a picture of that so you don't forget those dates, but as I keep saying, there will be an email that's coming out in the next 10 minutes from when we close this down, and it will have links to sign up to both of these. So any more for any more? Got no more questions in. Anything, Yvonne, that you'd like to add? Anything that's come?
Sorry, I went mute. I turned myself off in case we have noise. But no, if anyone does have any queries, please do reach out. But alternatively, just wait out, and hopefully it will help. Really hope it does.
Yeah, no, awesome. Well, we didn't have as many questions as I thought, so we've kind of blasted through it. So we're going to give you back 9 minutes of your day, everybody. Woo! 9 minutes of your life back. Yay. But a recording of this will be sent out as well. Just thank you for everything that you do. Thank you to Yvonne for spearheading this awesome initiative. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to help a lot of people. So thanks to Yvonne for being the change she wants to see, but to everybody here. Cool. Have a good day, everybody. See you later. Bye.